America's leaders have a problem. They're old as hell.
Here's one way to think about it. Angela Merkel is retiring from politics this year after a long career. She's 67 and has served as German Chancellor for 16 years across 4 American presidents. And she is still younger now than the current Senate Majority Leader, Senate Majority Whip, Senate Minority Leader, Speaker of the House, House Majority Leader, House Majority Whip, the current president, the previous president, and top 3 runners-up for the 2020 Democratic nomination. But the issue is much deeper than just these more recognizable figures, particularly for Democrats. Not only is their House leadership team a generation older than Republicans, the top 3 Democrats are all in their 80s, but so are many of their colleagues. Of the 36 standing congressional committees, 25 are chaired by someone over 70 years old, and that's reflected in the overall congressional makeup as well. The current US Senate is the oldest in history. 29 members are over 70, compared to just 11 under 50. And none of these figures seem to have much of a problem with the current situation. The 2 oldest senators, Chuck Grassley and Diane Feinstein, who were both born 8 years before Pearl Harbor and first elected to public office in the Eisenhower and Nixon administrations, have both filed to run for re-election in 2022 and 2024, for terms that would leave them 95 and 97 years old by the end.
And maybe most importantly, the issue trickles down to policy debates as well. Take climate change.
An issue where polls show younger Americans are a lot more concerned than older Americans, for obvious reasons. The bipartisan infrastructure bill not only includes little in the way of substantive green infrastructure, it actually encourages more fossil fuel use by doubling down on traditional oil and gas-based road travel. Coincidentally, 7 of the 10 senators who negotiated the bill are above the legal retirement age. In 2019, Feinstein herself famously stared down youth climate activists demanding a more robust response to the crisis. Whatever one thinks about her position or the activist tactics, it's pretty plainly true that someone who's nearly 90 years old is simply not going to have the same sense of urgency around an issue scientists tell us will overwhelmingly affect younger generations. Or take big tech. At a time of growing public anger, tech giants eager to avoid oversight and regulation are more than happy to see a government led by aging leaders who don't know the first thing about the issue.
Will you commit to ending Finsta?
How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
So to recap, we're living in a time of tectonic and rapid shifts to the basic building blocks of society.
How we get information, how we run our economies, and how we live our lives. And more than ever, our leaders are not only part of the age cohort with the least direct knowledge of these issues, they're also the ones who will be least affected by the decisions they make.
Now, to be clear, age in and of itself isn't a guarantee of anything.
The youngest member of Congress right now is a climate skeptic, out of step with much of his generation's views, while the oldest president in history won largely due to young voters.
And for some, maybe it is true that wisdom comes with age, but so does complacency and insularity.
And as long as our leaders remain uniquely unrepresentative of the people their decisions will most affect, it's hard to blame young people for throwing their hands up.